Some more trades have just gone down, so let's talk about them. The first trade was between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Washington Wizards, where the Pelicans sent CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second-round pick to Washington for Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, and the 40th overall pick in this year's draft. Before I get into the trade, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. This trade doesn't make a whole bunch of sense for the Pelicans because once again, they leave themselves very thin at the center position. And with their recent injury history, and centers being the most injury-prone players in the league, getting rid of all your center depth seems like a recipe for disaster. But hopefully, they can get an upgrade at the backup center spot. Whether that means signing someone in free agency or by trading for someone. Other than the lack of big men on their roster, I like the upgrade from CJ McCollum to Jordan Poole. The Pelicans are able to get a lot younger, and they get to take a shot in the dark at Saddiq Bey, who missed all of last season with a torn ACL. So it's really a gamble if he'll come back as good as he was before he got injured. In his second and last year in Atlanta, Bey averaged 13 points and 6 rebounds on 41% from the field and 31% from free. The Pelicans got off a pretty inconsistent player that can drop 40 on any given night, and they also got one back in Jordan Poole. But Poole is a little more consistent, and Poole has proven that he can affect winning a little bit more when he played a huge factor coming off the bench in the Warriors' 2022 championship run. Poole had a rough first year in Washington, where he averaged 17 points and 4 assists on 41% from the field and 32% from free. But in this last season, he had a bounce-back year where he averaged 20 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists on 43% from the field and 37% from free. With DeJounte Murray being out for a lot of the upcoming season with a torn Achilles, Jordan Poole will have to play an important role as a starting point guard, and I think he has the ability to do it well. He has a great passing game that he wasn't really able to show in Washington, and has guys around him that could make his job a lot easier. The new look Pelicans lineup could look like this: Jordan Poole at point guard, Herb Jones as shooting guard, Trey Murphy as small forward, Zion at power forward, and Yves Missi at center, with Jordan Hawkins, Saddiq Bey, and Jose Alvarado off the bench for now. They also get the 40th pick in this year's draft, which could turn out to be someone good, with how deep this class is. This trade doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the Wizards either. I thought they could have gotten a lot more for Jordan Poole, but clearly I valued him way more than he was worth. I thought they could have gotten at least someone young to help them with their rebuild, but I was wrong. I have no idea if CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk will get rerouted in another trade, or if they'll get bought out. CJ McCollum could be a good mentor for younger players, but they already have Marcus Smart, and having 2 veterans that are point guards just takes away minutes and touches for the young guards that they drafted from last year's draft, like Bob Carrington and Kanshawn George, and even AJ Johnson, that they got from Milwaukee as part of the Chris Middleton, Kyle Kuzma trade last deadline. With Alex Sarr's smaller frame, who knows if he'll be a durable player in his career. So Kelly Olynyk being their backup center could be very variable. Getting a future second rounder just for giving up the 40th pick is a great idea. It could be a very early second rounder, and if it is, it's a great swap. But it also could be a very late second round pick. That's just a gamble teams like the Wizards should be taking more often. The new look Wizards lineup could look like this: Bob Carrington at point guard, CJ McCollum as shooting guard, Chris Middleton at small forward, Bilal Coulibaly at power forward, and Alex Sarr at center, with Marcus Smart, Keyshawn George, Kelly Olynyk, Corey Kispert, and AJ Johnson off the bench. The second trade that I'll talk about is the three-team trade between the Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets, and Atlanta Hawks, where the Hawks got Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick. The Nets got Terrence Mann and a 22nd overall pick in this year's draft, and the Celtics got Jordan Poole and a second-round pick. So let's talk about it. When I was saying the trade made no sense for the other teams, that comes nothing close to the Celtics in this trade. I get they avoid the horrendous second apron by getting off of Porzingis' contract, but surely Brad Stevens was drunk when making this trade. Porzingis isn't a superstar by any means, but he is close to being an all-star when healthy. He's a fantastic rim protector and can shoot the lights out at a whopping height of 7'2". This season, Porzingis averaged 19.5 points and 6.8 rebounds on 48% from the field and 41% from free. The Celtics also had to trade a second-round pick just to get one back in Georges Niang. That's why I'm so down on this trade. Surely they couldn't gotten a first-round pick back by making this trade. They have $27 million to spend in the upcoming free agency, so I'm expecting them to use it very wisely after making such a surprisingly bad trade. The new-look Celtics lineup could look like this: Anthony Simons at point guard, Derek White at shooting guard, Jaylen Brown at small forward, Georges Niang at power forward, and Neemias Queta at center, with Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and Xavier Tillman off the bench. Next season should be a retooling year for the Celtics, so I'm expecting guys like J.D. Davison, Jordan Walsh, and Baelish Ironman to get some run. I'm a big fan of this trade for the Hawks. They get off Terrence Mann's contract, where he makes $15 million a year for the next 2 seasons. They give up Georges Niang, who's very expendable, and the 22nd pick, which they didn't really need, with all the young talent on their roster. And they get Kristaps Porzingis, who's an elite rim protector and a great three-point shooter. He can also be a very good lob threat to Trae Young, something Young's needed since Clint Capella's decline. They get a guy who can very easily be an all-star in the East's weaker year with all their injuries. This season, he averaged just under 20 points, while shooting just under 50% from the field. Just 3 years ago, in his last season in Washington, Porzingis averaged 23 points, where he shot 49% from the field. The one bad thing about this trade is they traded away one of the most durable players, Georges Niang, who played in 79 games last season, all 82 games the year before, 78, 76, and 72 games the previous 3 seasons, for a guy that only played in 42 games the season just passed, 57 the year before that, and 65, 51, and 43 the previous 3 years. If we're going off what was giving up to get Porzingis, it's a fantastic trade for the Hawks. It's a low-risk, high-reward trade. The worst thing about this trade was it was meant to be Onyeka Okongwu's first full season as a starting center. The Hawks can either go one of 2 ways. Either they start Okongwu and have Risache come off the bench, or they start Risache and have Okongwu continue to come off the bench. The way I think they should play things is Trae Young at point guard, Dyson Daniels at shooting guard, Jalen Johnson at small forward, Kristaps Porzingis at power forward, and Onyeka Okongwu at center, with Zachary Risache, Dominic Barlow, Mo Gay, and Kobe Buffkin off the bench. This trade was pretty simple for the Nets, so I won't go into too much detail, but I do like this trade for the Nets. They get a first-round pick while the 22nd pick may be a little late when you're a rebuilding team, a first-round pick is a first-round pick, and all they had to do was get it, was take on Terrence Mann's contract, which won't matter considering how much cap space they have and the fact they're a rebuilding team, and a second-round pick. Terrence Mann should be a solid veteran to have on your roster, and for a team that was ranked 7th, the worst defensive team in the league, his defense and hustle should be valuable to the Nets. That's if they don't agree on a contract buyout. The new-look Nets lineup could look like this: Terrence Mann at point guard, Tyrese Martin at shooting guard, Cam Johnson as small forward, Noah Clowney at power forward, and Nick Claxton at center, with Keon Johnson, Dariq Whitehead, Jalen Wilson, and Drew Timme off the bench, with D'Angelo Russell, Cam Thomas, and Zaire Williams all being free agents, and no guarantee to agree on contract extensions. The Nets are really banking on getting good players in the draft. That's gonna end this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments below what you thought on the two trades, who won and who lost them.